Hey, what's up, you guys? UJ Mama here, and we're here to cover my old Pokemon teammates. So this is going into Pokemon things like full playlist. While the off season's still going, might as well visit some old team members from my in-game teams of the 3DS and GameCube era and the Switch era. So, all right, let's just get on with it. So I played Colosseum, XD, Pokemon X, Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, Pokemon Moon, and Ultra Sun. So those are the games pre-Switch, aka 3DS, and surprisingly GameCube. So the GameCube ones are still questionable, so I don't know if these are correct. So let's just get into it. So it obviously starts you off with a partner Espeon and an Umbreon. I didn't really use Umbreon that much, but I did use the Espeon a lot, and I gotta say, always a goat. Espeon was in these games. It had light screen reflect, so it can be very useful in doubles. uh, put up a decent amount of damage because its base special attack was so high. It was like it's 130 or something, and Psychic it was really that good even back in Gen 3. Um, Next up, I took my starter. I picked a Croconaw, aka, and that turned into for Alligator. I think pretty solid. Uh, Hits pretty hard. Obviously, I think it only got Torrent until it wasn't that good until it got Sheer Force, but definitely a solid member. Uh, Next up, Jumpluff, a goat. Jumpluff was a goat. Why? It got Sleep Powder, and it made catching Shadow Pokemon a lot easier, and I did like that. I did like that. It got that, and also got Leech Seed, so it can like kind of deal with the other threats that were on the field while healing itself. I did love Jumpluff a lot for that. Next up, another solid member we have. Uh, Hitmontop. Hitmontop was very fun. It was hard to even get a Hitmontop in like Gen 2, Gen 3 because the way you had to get a Hitmontop was weird if you got it through a Tyrogue because you had to make sure its stats were in attack and defense were equal, which was already a big ask. Uh, but yeah, it was actually really good because it got Intimidate, and so you taught like a lot less damage, and also Fake Out was insane for doubles, obviously, but obviously preventing like any Pokemon from hitting you was always so good. Next up, Entei. I mean, big Entei always doing big damage. What else can you say? Those big Sacred Fires and big Fire moves did a lot from Entei. Lastly, we had Mantine. I don't really remember my Mantine that well. I don't even know if it was Mantine. Truly, I think these 5 members, I'm pretty sure, were on my Coliseum team. I think the sixth member was questionable. I didn't know what it was. But anyway, that's Coliseum. So let's move on to Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. I guess we have to start off once again with Espeon. Espeon once again, a goat. Always. Just did what it always does. Big special attack damage and then some support moves with like light screen reflect. But I don't know if I really did all that. Next up, Ampharos. Ampharos was really good actually. Very solid. It was a bulky electric type. One of the very few. And Thunder Wave was a very nice move back then. Let's just say that. It was like a little less than Jump Up because obviously Thunder Wave is really good. You can miss both Sleep Powder, but Sleep was a lot better than Paralyze. Next up, Claydol. Had Levitate, and it got Earthquake. But I'm gonna tell you Benchwarmer. I don't remember really using Claydol that much. Houndoom, probably the same. It was okay. Feint Attack and Fire Move were alright. Ursaring was just good. I mean, it did a decent amount of damage. Other than that, having immunity to Ghost was nice. That was about it though. Next up, Walrein. I don't remember having Walrein on the team. This is probably the team I remember the least. XD. I just remember I know Ampharos and I knew Espeon for sure. And obviously Ursaring, because they gave you a 10 years at the beginning, and I think I kept it the entire time. Uh, yeah, let's just move on. Pokemon X. So, Greninja was absolutely broken. This mod was crazy. Even though I didn't have Protean, obviously in my playthrough, because hidden ability was hard to get as a starter Pokemon. Torrent was still good, and it got so many coverage moves. You're just like, all right, so we're fighting this gym today. We can use put on this move. This move. It just learned like almost a lot. It's learned so many different moves. It was insane. Arcanite's always a good member. Intimidate, good. Just a great fire type to have around. Yeah. Uh, probably always here. Dublade. The blade was actually pretty good. I think we did get the Eviolite. Obviously, I didn't even need each slash. I was just like, let's just use Eviolite to blade, and it was fine. Took physical as well. Obviously, did not take special hits, but Shadow Sneak pretty nice. And then mixed attacks were pretty good on this. So Dublade just a pretty good member. Florges. And one of my first fairy types, so yeah, pretty good member for the first fairy. So much special defense, just took every special attack you can think of. Uh, Next up, good old Meowstick. I think I have to put Meowstick here. It had a lot of coverage, but once again, it was another special attacker with a lot of coverage. So it kind of fell to Greninja most of the time. Vespiquen was interesting. This was one of the defensive wall of the team, though with Arcanine, but obviously being weak to rock was rough. Um, it took a lot of hits actually, and then what is it? Heal order, recovery for free. Yeah, it's not too bad. Um, but actually, I think it is good. Is going down here with Meowstic. Sadly, it wasn't that great, but it was a very fun Pokemon to use. Next up, Alpha Sapphire. Picking most mons that can just Mega Evolve. So let's start with the Mega Sceptile. I think Mega Sceptile is pretty nice. Very fast. Dragon type did help a lot. I think we got like either Dragon Claw or Dragon Pulse around the time, so it wasn't too bad. So it could use the stab. Next up, Ludicolo. I'll go for sure. Giga Drain for free. It's just like the stab of water and grass. So good in the playthrough, but even with against either Maxi or Archie. So Archie with a grass stab, having grass stab is pretty good. Next up, we have Mega Camerupt. He was good, ground, fire, good offensive together, but together defensively really bad. So that's what let it down. Mega Guard, definitely above all these actually. Just hit so hard in Alpha Sapphire. Oh my gosh. This mon was crazy. Obviously, we didn't get like things like Hyper Voice to make Pixelate really crazy, but it still came off a very hefty special attack stat. Next up, Mega Gara. Here for sure. I'm actually gonna put here, here. Yeah, Mega Gara was insane. uh, yeah, not much to say. Just hefty waterfalls and crunches coming from this mon. Swallow, probably above. No, it's not gonna be. You're above here for sure. It's debatable for here, but Swallow very strong. Flying. just a good mon. Next up to Sun or Moon. Moon most likely. So Moon. This team was really rough. I'm gonna say. So let's start with Decidueye. He was actually just okay. He was really slow. Sometimes it felt real slow, but I loved the design so much. I kept with it. But the typing is rough. There's so many weaknesses, but I did like him though. Alolan Muck, pretty nice. Pretty nice team member. He really did bring the whole team together because he was really defensive. Poison and Dark, very nice typings for the Alolan Muck. As was Magnezone. I'm going to Magnezone here. I really did like Magnezone during the 3DS era. It was insane. So Magnezone, you know, special attacker, very decent typing. Always nice to have a Steel very early on, and especially one that can throw off decent special attacks. Oh, Minior. I don't think. I think it was actually you're better than these. I think you're better than these. Minior trying to make it work was so rough. You're like, oh my god, it's Shell Smash and it has a really good defensive like typing, but and then it becomes even faster once you like. You can see how it worked like on paper. However, even in game, it was hard to like pull off because sometimes this thing just didn't live because the typing is really rough. Rock flying comes so rough. All right. Nice up. Pyukumuku. I'm sorry. I really try to make Pyukumuku work on my in-game team. I was like, oh my god, it's my water type. So I love using water types. There's Ludicolo, Gyarados, for Alligator right there. Obviously Walrein even, and Mantine here. But ooh, I made a Pyukumuku. I loved it so much. It was just a little guy. But oh my god, the move pool. I was like, oh no, it's a Wobbuffet. So, uh, I try to make it work. Obviously, I think I try to make Curse plus Fighting Z counter, which became an offensive move actually. That was the way I used Pukumuku in game, and yeah, I was coping real hard with this. This was rough. I had two poison types on my team, and they were both pretty good. So Salazzle very good. Obviously, trying to find a female Salandit was rough, but I was gonna make it work. Luckily, I found out that only female Salandits evolve, and I wasn't stuck with a male Salandit for a long time. So yeah, there's Salazzle. Very, very good. Next up and last for the 3DS era, Ultra Moon. Also, Ultra Moon, I was trying to get through it very quickly, through the main game very quickly. So I like made like perfectly IV'd Mons and EV trained them, and then just to get through the main story faster. So I fit it with a lot of Mons that were already good to go. So let's start off with Aegislash. Obviously a goat. So good. Insane. Just having the Steel Ghost ready. Yeah, this was crazy. This Decidueye was a little bit better. I think it had some egg moves, but it's only a little. It's above these two, just at least. Swallow was better, but and then this was better. That's where I'll put the Ultra Sun Decidueye. It was okay, but it wasn't that much better. Still suffered from the same things as the Sun version. Garchomp, always a goat. I mean, it's a Garchomp. What do you want from me? Machamp was a very good member. Yeah, he'll go here. I did like Machamp. I was like, I'd never had the opportunity to use one because he's obviously a trait evolution. So, yeah. Magnezone again, still doing what it does. It just did a little slightly better in my Ultra Moon one, so I think this is fine. And then Milotic, a goat. I was like, I just filled them with goats. So I went through the main story fast, and then after I figured out, like, dang, there's nothing in the main story that changed. And that made me so upset for some reason that I didn't go back and do the post game. So I was like, I just moved on. So I was like, I don't care about Ultra Moon. I bought this game, and I was like, so there's nothing that changed in the main story at all. It's all post game. I don't know why that made me so upset. And I was like, I'm not dealing with this game anymore. So this team is still in there, but we just didn't finish Ultra Sun at all in the post game. So it is what it is. Next up, let's get to the Switch game, shall we? So I think yeah, it's in order. So let's go Eevee. Obviously we had to have our partner first in Eevee. Oops, sorry. And yeah, Eevee was a goat in its game because it had to be. Its stats are obviously changed, but the coverage Eevee got, let's go Eevee moves. Oh my god, they were broken, insane. Yeah, so it's always gonna be a goat in my eyes. And then Clefable, I think Clefable was solid. Being a fairy type in Gen 1 is insane in the original 151. So, yeah, very, very good mon. Lapras was good. Came a little late, but I think Lapras served its purpose for sure. Uh, it was the fire type. That's about it. This one was an oops. Rhydon was good, but I think I got it a little later than I should have. So he was a little lower leveled, but he still could take hits for sure. And then we have Victory Bell. Victory Bell was good. It wasn't a solid member. It was good. I did like it, but it was easy just to use. Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain, maybe Sunny Day Weather Ball, and then or Leech Seed, one of the few things. So all grass types kind of play the same in game anyway. But yeah, that's how Let's Go Eevee went for me. Next up, Shield. So we played some Shield. Let's start, of course, with the starter of all starters. Cinderace was a goat. Once again, another fast, offensive mon that got a whole bunch of coverage, and Cinderace was one of them. Cinderace was so good. Next up, Bolt Hunt. Actually, pretty solid. It was just fast Volt Switch. Obviously, it was physical, but having flash Volt Switch and then U turn with the man, Bolt Hunt wasn't too bad. So definitely that. Corviknight was another solid one. I love this Corviknight. Nevermore, my boy. So yeah, Corviknight was very very good. Just a Skarmory that was more offensive. The goats of goats though, Dracovish. This is what helped me fight Leon. Oh my gosh. So I thought Dracovish was gonna be like Spadef Kingdra. Like it's gonna be like he's gonna take hits and he can do damage. I didn't know Vicious Rend did that much damage. That's all I'll say. So another good member we have Wheezing, Galarian Wheezing. I knew I was gonna use this one when I got it. I did like Wheezing a lot, and I finally got to use one, and here it was. And then we have Whimsicott. I'm not gonna lie, Whimsicott was not a bench warmer. This both my fairies were good. Did like having a Moonblast plus Poison move and then Fire coverage because it got Heat Wave for some reason. It is what it is. All right. Next on to Brilliant Diamond. So our Brilliant Diamond, uh, Infernape, very good. Obviously, so going from one fire starter to the next was something, but yeah. So that's my fire starter, and they're always good. Just fast physical attackers. You got me with fire starters. Next up, yeah, Luxray was it did help me versus Cynthia at one point, but it was like any Intimidate Mon would have helped me. I was like, I wish I had a better one. So I like double intimidated the guard chomp until it was done. But yeah, I think Luxray kind of fell behind pretty quickly, but this Intimidator one did not as much. So Staraptor sticks around. Next up, Gastro was a goat. This mon did a lot for my Storm Drain. This immunity was very nice. And then, yeah, what else can you say? Surf, Slush Muddy Water, or Earth Ground Move, Recover was insane versus Cynthia. Next up, another coverage guy, Alakazam. I forgot how I got Alakazam. I think I had a friend to trade it for me, and I loved having it around. And he flew. He flew when you poke him out of Pokeball. It was fun. It was fun when he was just flying for some reason. And then Garchomp obviously gonna go. Half of these mods are goats. Like come on. Uh, Getting that Garchomp was very very nice and served me very well. Next up, last game, Violet. So Quaquaval. Quaquaval, very good mound. Was Aqua Step boosting my speed? I loved it. Very very good mon. Water fighting, very nice. Next up, who came? Oh, another Jump Plus. Jump Plus comes back again and was very solid, of course. Mon was very good. Helped me catch some Mons. Beat cheated some teams. Terrifying acrobatics hits very, very hard. So I did like that for sure. A goat. Yes, he was. Low kicks was one of my favorite mons to use in Gen 9. One of my favorites to be introduced in Gen 9 because of like first impression, U-turn, gets of course knockoff now, and number two in UU still to this day. Sees a lot of usage and underused in Gen 9's metagame in Smogon singles, so I love low kicks, my dude. Tinkaton was very, very good. Very solid member. Has one of the best typings in the game, Fairy Steel. Uh, just does a whole bunch for you. Just takes hits and also deals a decent amount of damage actually. 75 base attack is what it is, but Gigaton Hammer don't mess around. Next up, T-Tar. T-Tar, yeah. T-Tar was crazy because I got it as a Larvitar, and so its Terra type was ground. So being rock, dark, and then Terra ground, very nice. Loved this T-Tar. Next, Edge, also insane. Also solid member. My whole team was solid. I want to tell you, Flash Fire Bitter Blades, it got me to love Terra Raids. Why? It taught me that like healing moves in Terra Raids are broken. And then I've done so many Terra Raids because of I think both low kicks, but mostly through Cerulege. So I think Cerulege actually has to be put in the GOAT. So yeah, these are my GOATs, and these are everybody else who's made it. So solid members, good members, and oops. So yeah, these have been my Pokemon teams. Hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, let me know your favorite members on your Pokemon teams throughout the years. See you guys next time.